I genuinely love helping roofing companies dominate their local area. And if there's one thing that's a challenge to growing a roofing business in an area, it's video content. Some roofers just don't even know where to start, and some roofers don't understand how to make content, and some roofers just need a good old nudge to say it's going to take discipline to learn and stick at making good video content that will help you dominate your area. And the goal of this video today is to take roofing companies from zero to hero, to teach them how to make videos, what type of content they need, what type of gear they need, and how to craft their content, and the stages of the funnel to use that content so they can get started today making video content that will help them dominate their area. And I'm going to show you the exact strategy that I used to help a roofing company in Central Florida go from 3 crews to 18 crews, from one location to 3 locations, and to grow to $30 million a year and sell for $60 million. And if that sounds interesting to you, stick around, because that's what we're going to get into. But if we haven't met yet, my name is Preston. The name of our agency is Results Digital, and we are the leading digital marketing agency just for roofers in the United States. And we only partner with one roofer per an area, because our goal is to help that roofer dominate their area so that it's impossible for their competitors to compete against them. And if that's something that interests you, in the description, there's a link where you can book a free strategy call. Let's see if it's a fit. Let's see if we have the ability to work together. Now, on to the lesson. So first things first, let's talk about the gear that you need. You don't need a $10,000 setup, okay? What is helpful, have an iPhone that's a pro version. Pro version means it has these 3 cameras right here. If you do that, it means that you can shoot in 4K. Now, obviously, if you're in selfie mode like this, it's not shooting in 4K, but if you're turning your camera and showing someone the roofing work that you're doing, you can shoot in 4K. You can use an iPhone, and this is a Samsung Galaxy that a former employee wanted because that person used Galaxy. Both of them have the 3 cameras, and that's what you want. You want a good smartphone with a good camera. If you want to, you could even just get one for your company that's only use is just to take videos. The second thing that you're going to need is some type of noise canceling device. Now, I use an iPhone 14 that has the Thunderbolt connection. I think they're all USB-C now. And this just plugs into the bottom like this. And then there's a Bluetooth receiver right here. Now, when this is in, all vocal traffic goes through this receiver. And it has a noise canceling selection so that if you want to cancel out background noise, it can do that. I suggest that you just go on Amazon, find one with the little fluffy things on it. All right, that's the technical name. The fluffy things on it, because I think that helps with the wind. And if you're a roofer, you're gonna be up on the roof, that's better, right? The third thing, and don't skimp on this, you need a good gimbal. All right, now I use the DJI gimbal. All right, I found it on Amazon. This one I like because I shoot a lot of my stuff in my office. I'm not a roofer, I work with roofers, but largely, I mean, if you've seen any of my videos, I always have the same setup. I'm in my office. If we're traveling or something like that, yeah, okay, I'm in a different location, but this has a nice little tripod that can set, so that may come in handy. You might find a situation where it's nice to have a tripod. A couple of other things it has a telescoping rod. It's manually telescoping like this. But then 3, it has a nice little, the gimbal will follow you around. So when you have your cell phone in here, you can set it to follow your face, or you can set it to follow whatever you're filming. And with the software that you can install on your cell phone, it allows you to turn it horizontally if you want to. You could go from vertical to horizontal. Sorry, my wrist doesn't bend that way. And you can even flip the camera around. You can control it with the little joystick right here. You know, spend about an hour learning how to use it, and you'll become a pro at it, right? Has a little button on the back so it can lock onto an object like your face if you're doing selfies. No matter where you go, it stays with you. And if you take those 3 things together, right? A good camera, a noise canceling device, and a good gimbal, I only recommend the DJI. That will help you make professional videos. Can you use higher end equipment? Of course, right? Yes, you can, but you don't need to. You could just use this simple equipment and it will work just fine. Could you do all the videos yourself? You're just holding the camera? Yeah, you can. Absolutely. Could you have someone sitting there holding the gimbal, pointing the camera at you? Yes, you could do that as well. So it could be a 1-man operation, it could be a 2-man operation. But the point is that's the extent of the hardware you need. I think I paid $180 for the gimbal, maybe $150. I paid probably $80 for the lapel mic, And this is just my regular personal cell phone that I use on a day in, day out basis. Now here's what you actually want to film. There's really 3 types of content that you're filming. Top of the funnel, middle of the funnel, bottom of the funnel, right? They all have their different purposes. Top of the funnel content is really more you're building an audience, right? These are people that have never met you before, and what you're trying to do is provide observation type of content. So for instance, hey, I'm a roofer and I've done over 1,000 roofs. And the one thing that I observed is fill in the blank. I've looked at thousands of roof repair jobs over 30 years. And one thing I've observed is fill in the blank, right? You're using something that you've observed over a long period of time, a huge data set, and making an observation about it that gets people's attention, right? This is them getting to know you. You're literally just recording what you've seen, and no one can argue with your own observations. We like to use this type of content in engagement campaigns. So engagement campaigns are campaigns that are built to get people to engage with the post. Subscribe to your YouTube channel, follow your Instagram, like your Facebook page, like the post, share the post, repost on Instagram, so on and so forth. We're looking for engagement. We're looking to get people interested in your brand and what you have to say. And within these types of engagement campaigns, you can have 4 videos that are all top of the funnel, observation type videos, and Facebook and Instagram and YouTube can kind of switch those out and use them to build people into your funnel and to get people engaging with your brand. Middle of the funnel content is really where you want to live. These are going to be videos. Nowadays, people prefer shorts because shorts can be TikToks, they can be reels. So that's where you're filming it vertically. And these you want to be 2 minutes or less. Now, a pro tip, whenever we're editing the videos for you, we have a way to speed them up so it doesn't remove your natural voice, but it's helpful for your end audiences because instead of your words dragging on, we can speed it up, edit it, clip it, and get it to the point. But this middle of the funnel content is really going to be geared at flexing your knowledge and expertise. So within the SEO realm, there's an acronym called EAT, E-E-A-T. Stands for expertise, experience, authoritativeness, and trustworthiness. And that's what you want to convey in the videos. You want to show yourself to be a roofing expert with experience, with authority, and that you're trustworthy. And I would argue one of the ways that you show yourself to be trustworthy is by pointing out the gaps in your competitors' work, where they cut corners. I wouldn't be so bold as to name them by name, but certainly pointing out that, hey, this person called a roofer down the street that was the lowest bidder, and they came out and did the lowest bidder type of work, and now they're not picking up the phone to come back out and fix the problem. That's one way that you can build trustworthiness. But show your authority. We are a Certainty Premier certified roofer. All right, I don't even know if that's something that exists, but you should be certified in some type of shingle system, some type of roofing system for metal roofs, and so on and so forth. Tout that. Show your authority. Hey, we are the highest level of certification for this shingle brand, for this windstorm mitigation, or whatever certifications you can tout. This type of content really helps solidify your company as the go-to company. The one who's speaking truth, the one who takes your work seriously, the one who's not going to leave them hanging if there's a problem. You're going to come back out and fix the problem. You could talk about nail patterns and shingles, why you use a certain shingle brand, what the manufacturer specifications are, why you do the nail patterns the way you do, why you put down the paper on the roof the way that you do, how you do your drip edges, how you do your flashing, the different types of flashing, how you protect lawns and landscapes during the re-roof, how your repair process is different than your competitors, how you handle job site safety so that someone doesn't nail their foot to your customer's roof, how you train your crew, how you promote and develop and build up your crew. Anyone who's built a business knows you're only as good as your team. You could do so much of the work by yourself at first, but eventually, if you're going to grow your company, you've got to depend on others. Well, how do you ensure that they're doing the work better than what you would do it every single time, so there's a good customer experience? Talk about that type of stuff in your video. And these don't have to be long videos. 1 to 3 minutes is fine. Think about them, just to use a Marine Corps terminology, as a hip pocket lesson. Quick, efficient, helpful, useful, and definitely something that's flexing your EEAT. And here's the thing. Your competitor might know everything that you know and more, But if they're not willing to put their face behind a camera and you are, guess who wins? And don't worry about trolls. Listen, trolls are trolling because they're jealous and they're not willing to put themselves out there. You got to ignore the noise and move on. And here's the hard truth. The roofer I had that sold for 60 million was simply willing to do what the roofers who are struggling at 2 to 3 million aren't willing to do. So he was willing to make the videos that the struggling roofers aren't willing to make. He had the discipline, he had the motivation, he had the dedication, he had the diligence to do that. The difference between the roofer that grows to 10 million, 20 million, 30 million and sells their business and retires their family, and the one that hovers at the 1 to 3 million mark is their willingness to make videos and to make good videos, helpful videos, educational videos, compelling videos. But I want to broaden your horizon on this for a second, because I want you to think about this for a second. This roofer who grew his business, he didn't have trouble getting the best of the best sales reps, the best of the best workers, because people would see his excellence in his videos and proactively reach out to him to apply. So he never had a shortage of good roofers. He never had a shortage of good salespeople. He never had a shortage of good office staff because his video content was excellent. And by excellent, I don't mean polished and perfect. He didn't have a video production crew, all right? He'd be up on the roof filming a video and you could hear the wind whipping. But the content was good content. It was educational. It was helpful. It was things that people that aren't roofers are like, oh, I never knew that before. That's a really interesting thing. Immediately that person set apart, that roofer was set apart in the viewer's mind. All right, and at points he'd sit here and do like this and then turn his head and his mic would still be over here because he wasn't using a lapel mic and you couldn't hear what he's saying. But the substance of the content was excellent. All right, it wasn't production quality, but it was very high value content. And that roofer was able to grow and scale his problems. He had different problems than the roofer that's struggling to hit 3 million. His problems were how to handle the expansion. So let's move into the bottom of the funnel content. This type of content is where you are now directly calling them to action. Now, if you have your retargeting set up correctly on your website, all your tags, all your pixels, then traffic that comes to your website through SEO, traffic that comes to your website through Google Ads, traffic that comes to your website through TikTok, YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, LinkedIn, all of that traffic, there's going to be cookies dropped in those people's browsers, those website visitors' browsers. And then you're able on the ad platforms to retarget those people. And when you retarget them, you don't want to show them the same video that you've been showing them for 2 weeks. You now want to show them video content that's very direct messaging. You're calling them to take action, not to just leave the ad platform and go to your website, but to leave the ad platform, go to your website and actually book. And so this has to have very direct messaging, not unkind, just direct. You're calling them to do something. You're giving them an incentive. You're selling scarcity. Hey, we only have a few more slots left. Or maybe you're running a current promotion or special offer. Hey, we have a special offer. If you act soon, you can get this. Or a direct call out. Hey, you've been watching our video and you haven't booked yet. Well, now's the time to book that free inspection. And your only goal with this video is to get them to stop scrolling, stop just looking at your videos over and over again and not taking action. It's time for them to click the ad and book. And here's the thing. Google says in their own independent studies that it takes about 500 touch points on a prospect before they convert. And so if it takes 500 times of someone touching them, right, of your brand touching them, that means that your retargeting has to be set up correctly. Because when they see your video on Facebook and then they hop over to YouTube and oh, there's that video again. And then they hop over to TikTok and oh, there's that video again. Or wherever the place. They're seeing your videos over and over and over again. And you just wear them down until they finally book a free roof inspection. And the conversion might look like this. They might see your videos over and over and over and over and over and over again. But they don't necessarily click on the ad and book a free inspection. They might see it over and over again, and now your brand name is singed in their head. And then they just go and look for you directly on Google. So it looks like it came in through a Google search, but really it came in because they'd seen you so many times that your brand was so clear in their mind that they went and Googled you and converted that way. We actually had that happen with a client that sold for 60 million. By the time they sold, they had to spend about $500 a day, $600 a day on Google search ads that were just for their brand, and then about another $50 a day, maybe $100 a day on Bing ads, on Microsoft ads, to protect both those platforms so that no matter what, if someone Googled a variant of their name and only their name, that they would actually get that lead. So think about this for a second. That was their highest performing campaign, was their brand campaign. I mean, they were getting quality roofing leads for like, I don't know, less than $100. And that all happened because they were just getting hit and hit and hit. They'd go on one platform, then they go on the next platform, and it's like, oh man, you're following me all over the place. And it just singed their brand name in their head. And when they went to convert, they just did a brand search, and then boom, they converted that way. It looked like a Google lead. In reality, it was all of that working together. And that's what I love doing for roofers, helping them build that into their own company, because it radically changes their life forever. Think about what that would do for your roofing business, how that would be a blessing to your family, to your employees, to your employees' families, to build a company like that that was so dominant that it made it difficult for other roofers to compete against you because you had taken the time to do that. Now, perhaps you're at the point where you're like, I get it, okay? I need to make video content, and you don't know where to start. Okay, let me pay this forward a little bit. There's a client that I have that used to have a roofing company. Now he has a videography company, and he specializes in working with home services companies, just like yours. So roofers are home services, and he will come out bi-monthly, quarterly, shoot the video content that you need. He'll work with my team to get us the type of content that we need, top of the funnel, middle of the funnel, bottom of the funnel. And because he used to be a roofer, he knows now how to make content for roofers, so he can help you with the scripting, help you what to say. He knows what good shots are. He actually has the production scale equipment, right? So he has the $10,000, $15,000, $20,000 equipment. You don't need that, but if you don't know where to start and you know you need to do something, obviously there's an additional charge for his company, but that would be a good place to start. So here's what I want you to walk away with. And hopefully this has been extremely helpful. If so, please like the video and please comment. That does help our YouTube channel perform better on YouTube. I want you to walk away with this. You need 3 types of content: top of the funnel, middle of the funnel, bottom of the funnel. You need 3 pieces of equipment: a cell phone, noise canceling mic that goes on your lapel, and a DJI gimbal. And imperfect videos that have good content will beat highly polished production quality videos if they're done consistently and done to help educate, inform, and show your local audience what they need to be looking for in their roofing needs. I also want you to understand that if you're looking to grow past the 2 million, 3 million, 4 million mark, you absolutely have to start incorporating video. It's non-negotiable. Now, just to remind you, we're Results Digital, and we will only work with one roofing company in a local area. We're not trying to sign up every Tom, Dick, and Harry that has $1 to throw our way. We want to work with a very specific set of roofers and only in a certain area to help them dominate their local market. We want to make roofers millionaires. And if that's what sounds interesting to you, again, book a strategy call down below and let's see if it's a fit. Let's see if we can work together. Until next time, Results Digital out.